Good evening, guys. It's Lennon from Kitchen Time LV. It's been a very long time since I made a recipe video on this channel. Well, today I'm going to be doing a meal, and the recipe video is going to be broken up into two stages, okay, or two parts. I'm going to be making beef fajitas tacos with bell pepper and onion with a side of Mexican rice and refried beans. And we are going to actually do this backwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the longest side dish. The side dish that takes the longest. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to start on the Mexican rice. So again, this is going to be in two parts. So hang tight and I will show you the first side dish for the beef fajita taco meal. Okay guys, here is the first side dish to the beef fajita taco meal. Alright, starting off over here in the front, we will need 1 cup of rice, half of a small onion chopped, 2 cups of chicken broth or water, optional, you can do either or, half of an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and it's starting to spill over. Okay, half a teaspoon of minced garlic. I don't have the measuring spoon, but you will use half a teaspoon of minced garlic. This is cumin. You will I usually end up sprinkling this in there, and it is just for flavor to taste, but I would say maybe like 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. So again, this is just for taste, but in measurement terms, it's usually 1 teaspoon, so it's 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. And I don't have it with me right now, but you are also going to need 1 teaspoon of salt. So I will also be using 1/4 cup of oil, and this is olive oil. You can also use vegetable oil if you want, whatever oil you prefer. It's up to you, but 1/4 cup of any kind of oil. In this case, I'm using olive. So I'm going to go ahead and first we have a 2-quart saucepan. This is going to be on medium heat. Alright, they're like around a 6, I think the thing says. Okay, then we are going to add the olive oil. This is like maybe 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to let that heat up, and I'll be right back once it's heated up. Okay guys, so I forgot to mention too that you will let this heat on medium heat for 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes the most. You want to make sure that your oil is nice and hot, so that way you can have a good end result with this Mexican rice. So I'm going to go ahead and add, see my oil is already heated up. I'm going to go ahead and add the 1 cup of rice into the oil. You want to stir it around, coating it in all the oil. And you want to cook this for about a good 10 minutes, or until the rice is golden brown. The reason why I did this first is because this takes longer to cook. It takes longer to cook in the oil, and then the second part is when we add the liquid. Once we add the liquid, it's going to take about 20 minutes for it to come together. So that's why I'm doing this first. You want to stir this every 2 minutes. Every minute, not 2. This is what I have the heat on. It is like about a 6. Or 5. I'll be back once this rice is golden brown. Okay, this is starting to turn golden brown. Actually, it's starting to turn a little bit more golden brown than expected, but it's okay. Once it turns into this color, this is the time that you're going to start adding the onion. Do not add the onion right when it is immediately golden brown, because if you do, you will risk your rice burning too soon. So I'm going to add the onion and then I'll be right back. Here is the onion. You're going to mix this up really well. This is half of a small onion, finely chopped. You will cook this for approximately 3 minutes. Again, we are working on medium heat still. Next, we're going to add the 1 teaspoon. I said half, but it's actually going to be 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. Now we're going to add the 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, and we are going to mix this together. You need to work really quickly because when garlic burns, then your garlic will burn, and then you end up with a bitter tasting product. 30 seconds. Next, we are going to add the half of an 8-ounce can or half of a cup of tomato sauce. You'll let this boil for 1 minute. You want to fry the tomato sauce a little bit. Once this is boiled for a few seconds, we're going to add the 2 cups of chicken broth or 2 cups of water. Give this a stir. I'll be right back after I add the cumin and salt. To taste. Now that I've added the cumin and the salt, I'm going to give this another stir, and I'm going to gradually raise the heat up, and we're going to bring this to a boil. Once this comes to a boil, we are going to cover this, reduce the heat to low, and we are going to let this simmer untouched for 20 minutes. And I'm going to show you a method that I've done in the past that is really important for you to have in a very nice looking rice. Now this is starting to come up to a gradual boil. Give this one little stir. And also, I forgot to mention, before you cover this and allow it to simmer, taste it for seasoning. If it needs more salt to your liking, if it needs more cumin to your liking. For me, it's to my liking. Plus, I didn't add a lot of salt because we have the 2 cups of chicken broth, and since it is not reduced sodium, it has salt. Now that this has come up to a boil, We're going to cover this, and we are going to reduce this to low. And by low, I mean low. Between a 2 and a 3. And we are going to allow this to cook for approximately 8 minutes. So the main reason why I did not put the full 20 minutes is because you want to start at a lesser time. And what this will do, this will allow the rice to cook evenly and have a better result. If you're going to simmer it for 12, you're going to remove it from the heat and you're going to let it sit for 8. So make sure when it's time to turn down the heat, you're going to let it simmer for 12 minutes. Covered, do not even attempt to open the lid because you want to make sure none of the moisture escapes the rice. If you let it escape, your rice is not going to turn out very nice and very nice. So again, you're going to allow it to simmer covered for 12 minutes, remove it from the heat, and let it stand for 8 minutes, and that will be your full 20 minutes. Show you how the rice came out. See, this is the texture that you want. Okay, you want all the grains to separate. It might have overcooked just a little bit, but this is what you want. You want the grains to separate. And we achieve this because we remove the rice from the heat. If you were to leave this rice on the heat for the additional 12 minutes, you would end up making it turn into mush. I also want to mention that I allowed it to stand for an additional 10 minutes so that all the liquid can absorb. So this is your Mexican rice. I will have this uploaded as a separate video. Now we'll continue on with the rest of the meal. And we're going to start on is the refried beans, and you're going to need one 15-ounce can of beans. It can either be red, in this case I have red because this was the only thing I had on hand, red, black, or pinto beans. And you're also going to need either a couple tablespoons, maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil or butter or margarine. You're going to add it into a small pot, and you're going to gradually allow this to come to heat. Heat this over medium-high until the oil is hot. And then we'll be back to show you the refried beans. In the meantime, while your refried beans are cooking, you will need half of a small onion and half of a bell pepper. So half of each small onion and bell pepper. This is going to be for the beef fajitas. So again, I'll be back once I have these chopped. Okay, to save us some time, I ended up slicing the onion as best as I could, and I think I might have screwed it up just a little bit, but it's okay. I'm still going to eat it. And then I halved the bell pepper. I removed the seeds and I cut it into slices. the oil for the refried beans is ready, so we're going to add the 15-ounce can of refried beans. Be very careful when you add this because the oil is hot and you don't want to burn yourself. So we're going to add this to the beans. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear the sizzle right away. I'm going to give this a quick stir. And all you're going to do is you're going to allow these to come up to a boil. Once these boil, you're going to let these boil for 5 minutes. You want these to heat through so that way you can have an easy time mashing them. I'll be back when this comes to a boil. I apologize, my phone died. Whoop. My phone actually has very little battery left, but I ended up letting these come to a boil and then I ended up mashing them. So these are basically done. These are already done. We just needed to make sure that these heated through so that way they were easy to mash. Once these are fully mashed, you will turn it off or keep it on warm until you are ready to eat them.